to the Best Family Homestead. I'm Aaron. Got Robert from Watch Your Step here with me, and so me and Robert were talking. We were about to start cutting the board and batten siding for the old house, and kind of decided to go with the traditional shiplap instead. It's been a little bit more era correct for the house, one of the reasons I'm doing it is because it'll take a little less time and save a little bit of lumber as well in the cutting process. Well, to do this, I've got to do some modification work on the saw. I've got a new toy here that's going to let me cut the bevel in the weatherboard. Start taking it off. I mean, there's no bevel, and by cutting a bevel, it allows the water to not go back in the boards and allows the wall to be a lot straighter. So we are going to install this new toy on here so that it will let me lock into two positions, basically lock up here and cut my bevel, or lock down straight and cut perfectly horizontal. And there's a couple other things we need to do as well to this. You can see over here the kind of, I think, one of the only really design flaws I found in this sawmill. You can see how the numbers here, you know, they were painted on this ruler. So as it slid, now you can see the marks where I have to go in every time I want to cut something and make a mark, and then the mark ends up disappearing. So I've got this ruler I'm going to put on here, and you can see that's engraved, and I'm going to take some orange spray paint the ruler, wipe it off so that I can see the numbers, cut it down to length and pop rivet it, and that way as it goes back and forth over it, I'll still be able to see the numbers and it'll be bright orange. So we got a bit of work to do today, and then get started cutting on some siding. So let's get after it. Alright guys, so what we just got through doing, like I said, this piece is the same thing as this piece. So if I'm in the incomplete, if I'm in the vertical position, you see how this is nice and snug because I've got to stop here. Well, right here, if I came up to this position, you see how there's wiggle in that blade, and you do not want wiggle in that blade. So all you do is when you go to a different position, you adjust this up where it's nice and tight there. That's our set screw. And now there's no wiggle in the blade. And if I need to go horizontal, all I'll do is just spin that down and it locks and is nice and sturdy. So now I've got everything pretty much fitted up. So I'm going to go through here and tighten down all the set screws, make sure everything's nice and tight, get the guard put back up, and then we're going to get started on our measuring device there. Actually. So this is a pretty handy little trick. I've done this quite a few times for different rollers and measuring devices that are hard to see. First thing I want to do is just take and do a general wipe down in case there's any grease or anything on this. Goodness, I sliced my finger off. All right. So I couldn't find any at the little store. I couldn't find any of the spray paint, regular orange spray paint. So I had to go with the upside down. So we're going to have to spray this one a little bit upside down here. And this is that marking stuff, so it'll stick. All right, but that's fine. And all you want to do once you get your paint on there, a little bit of acetone on your paper towel. Make sure and get nice and tight. We wouldn't have to, one wipe would usually get this if it wasn't so thick. The paint wasn't so thick, but it is what it is. Oh, there's not a lot to cut off. And voila. So now when that dries, I think that'll be a lot easier to see than just the engraved numbers. You'll be, not a ton of paint in there, but just enough to make it stand out. Especially, you can definitely tell a difference down there. Like you can definitely see those numbers a whole lot better and the hash marks from what it was originally. And since they're recessed, the bar moving across will not knock it off. And if it fades a little bit, we just put another coat of paint on it and wipe it off again. All right, well, let's go get that other one off and get this one cut to length and put on. Stripped a little bit. There we go. So now, in case you guys were wondering, what in the heck is this? It's my gauge for how wide I'm going to cut. So if I want to cut 2 inches, I set that right there to my 2-inch mark. It's locked down. I come, yeah, see, that's what I was saying, might be a little bit annoying. I just got to push that down a little bit. Come over to 2 inches, and now I know I'm gonna be cutting at 2 inches. So that's it. And now that's just a repeater, and that way it's fast. So now all I gotta do is push it down a little bit, go to 2 inches, And that's that. So now we can start getting this board right here squared off a little bit, so we can try this out and see how our weatherboard's gonna come out looking.
Sounds good. And I'm just looking at this. Your marks are almost dead on. I mean, they're pretty close.
I mean, for this being rough cut lumber, I think it's like over 1/8 of an inch that's acceptable, and really it's rough cut, so it's whatever. You know, if I need perfectly dimensional lumber, I'm going to be running it through a joiner and a table saw anyway to square it up. This is rough cut. This is just for building barns and stuff, and then, you know, it's easy enough to make it perfectly square if I need to. So it's definitely, I'm okay with it being 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch off for the price that lumber costs right now. All right, everybody, so now you can see our weatherboard, and I think the weatherboard you see is just cut at an angle, thicker up here and thinner down here, so that when you start putting it on in the house, you're going to start with your bottom piece, and then instead of having a whole thick board sitting there on top, as you go, it's just going to set and just overlap just a small amount, and then the next smaller piece is going to overlap a small amount, and the whole point is just it keeps it gives a little bit of room so it stays basically the same distance and allows you something to nail into there. So once we get a little bit more of it dialed in, we about got the hang of it. First time we've used this attachment, but it'll make it a lot easier to put up than just big thick boards. The boards won't have to bow as much to touch the wall, so I think it's going to do a pretty good job. And now you're gonna get to see some videos of us doing nothing but cutting stacks and stacks of this, so that we can start putting all those stacks on the house. Well, guys, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned.